back. In this session, we'll talk about PowerShell ISE and Visual Studio Code. And also we should try and plan ourselves to transition to Visual Studio Code in the near future. So even though PowerShell ISE will be there for the next 5 to 7 years, the reason I say that it will be there for next 5 years because this particular ISE is an integrated tool, part of your Windows operating system, right? On all your Windows client and the server operating system, the ISE PowerShell integrated scripting environment tool is pre-installed, or it's like comes part of your operating system. And anything that you create as a script or as a code using PowerShell, I think most of the people will continue to use PowerShell ISE. So maybe some team who are part of the development, like the developers and the DevOps administrators, they might already started using Visual Studio Code because they might be trying to use the single tool for both application code creation and PowerShell scripts and infrastructure code creation. So some people might have already started using the Visual Studio Code, but then PowerShell ISE will stay as the de facto standard for creating any scripts by administrators for the next 5 to 7 years. So let's jump into the discussion here. So I'm not sure how many of you know that there are many other integrated development environment. There are many IDE for PowerShell. So Visual Studio Code is again a free tool from Microsoft, which you can install and download in cross-platform operating system or multi-platform operating system. It is compatible with your Windows, MacBook, Linux, and so on. And ISE comes pre-installed part of your Windows operating system. So it's part of your Microsoft Windows. So these two are a free version, but then there are other tools like Primal Script and PowerShell Studio, which has got a lot of features and functionalities which is more aligned to the development. See, if you want to have some kind of Windows form designer or some Windows form templates, then PowerShell Studio gives all those features. Even it provides you PowerShell 7 as part of your PowerShell Studio. But then if you look at Visual Studio Code, some of the designing and the templating, those options are missing in your Visual Studio Code and the ISE. So ISE is very powerful, but still like some organizations, they go and use the PowerShell Studio if they want to have more development or DevOps oriented culture. Okay, so coming to PowerShell ISE, if you log on to any of your operating systems, server or client operating system, if you just go and start typing ISE, you will start finding Windows PowerShell ISE. So there are different versions also part of your ISE. So currently, like the ISE version 2 is more popular. And let's give it a minute to load. And if you go into the server manager, you can also see this. Let me go and just go tools, and then let me try to remove the roles and features. Let me go here under the features. If I scroll down, let's go to the Windows PowerShell. If I expand this, you can see that you can now install the Windows PowerShell integrated scripting environment. This is mainly to create, compose, edit, and debug scripts. And you can also run multi-line interactive commands in a graphical environment. So this is more like it covers many of the important features part of your PowerShell ISE. And it's like it's a graphical tool, right? It's a GUI. So if you look at here, it has got multiple panes. Like on the left, you can see this is where we go and write the script, and this is where you get the output. And on the right, you have the commands console where you will get help for writing any command. So even it has got a lot of menus here to explore, and I'll come to this. So PowerShell ISE is part of your operating system. and it's a graphical user interface, right? And it gives you option to go and create, test, and refine your PowerShell script. The important benefit, you can just compare PowerShell and PowerShell ISE. So when you talk about PowerShell, it's more like your notepad. So what does your notepad provide? You can just go and take notes. You can type some contents in that, and then it helps you to achieve what you want to do. But then if you want to do some formatting, and if you want to have some quality documentation, then we generally go and use tools like Windows Word to enhance the quality and get things into a proper shape, right? So that's the difference between PowerShell and PowerShell ISE as well. So if PowerShell ISE, it provides you a lot of options to go and edit, go and have some kind of syntax-based coloring, selective execution, and so many different things, right? Context-based help, and also it provides you multiple language support as well. See, let me just do one thing. So let me go to the Chrome here. Okay. Yeah, so these are all some of the important thing. It gives you variety of option to edit, and then even it provides you a very beautiful help option that gives you detailed information around what are the different options here. See, if I open up the ISC help, it gives you detailed information on what are the each of the options here. What is the menu option provides? What are the Windows PowerShell tab option provide? What are the different stuffs that are part of your title here? So you can see that you have the clear console option, and then you can see these options are not enabled because we don't have any commands that are typed in. Say after I type in any command here, you can see that these options are getting enabled, and also it provides you IntelliSense to type and complete the command. Also on the right, if I just go and type something, I'll show you. There is an option to go and copy the command. There is an option to go and insert additional thing. See, this things might not be open by default. If you want to open up the command console, you can just go and say run command, and it opens up the command console on the right. Okay, so let me just say run command and then execute it. Sorry, and let me just see, there is an option here as well. Sorry, it's not run command, it's show command. Okay, you'll start seeing this show command console where you can go and explore the commands here. So let me clean it up. You can also open up that by clicking on this option by adding the commands console add-on, and even you can see that there is an option to go and show the command window here. And you can also have some orientation difference. So currently the script menu and the command prompt, or like the PowerShell prompt, are actually aligned horizontally. You can also make it vertical so that you can see things in parallel, but horizontal stuff helps you with better alignment and so on. See, yeah, if I want to just explore few more things, so currently um, mostly like when you talk about PowerShell, if I want to run something in one command, like for example, if I want to get the process and then get some details, I can use the PowerShell console, not the ISE, the scripting console. I can just directly go and say where object, have only the process which is open as Chrome, right? I want to just get the filter for Chrome here. Okay, I want to get all the process ID that corresponds to Chrome. I have the Chrome window open here, right? It is providing me all the process ID which corresponds to Chrome. If it is a single one-line command or it's a simple thing, I can just do using this. But then if I want to run some complex things or complex scripts, I can start storing this. For example, let me copy this. Okay, let me store it in a kind of stored procedure, stored variable. I will call it as processes. I'll just store it here, and then I'll try to get some better alignment here. So I want to just do some right host. I want to just do some, don't want to have asterisk X. I'll just try to have some designing here. Okay. So let me write this. Right host will print out that particular asterisk there. And then I want to get for each of the process, I want to get them separated by each line. Okay, I want to get the process in the process is just I'm showing you something. What is the difference between ISC and the PowerShell? So when you want to format it better, or when you want to filter things, or when you want to write something in a better way, then definitely you need to have PowerShell ISC. That's what I'm just trying to convey here. Okay, and then I want to just have only the process name. This is what I'm trying to filter down, the Chrome. And then I want to have a semicolon or colon in between, and then followed by the process ID. Okay, let me see. The IntelliSense is working. The IntelliSense means like if I'm just trying to type something, automatically the PowerShell ISC will start giving you um, some kind of suggestions. Okay, I want to have some foreground color. Okay, see the auto completion is also there. Okay, let me pick up some color here. I want to have dark blue or dark gray, or even I can just have some dark magenta color. Okay, I can auto complete it. Similarly, I want to have the right host at after each of the line. Okay, I'll have something like this at each of the line, and then let me just complete it. See, if I want to execute something, one line or one specific line, if I do this, like it will only run the selection. Okay, so wherever my cursor is, it will run only that particular, execute only that line. If I press F8, F5 will run the entire script. Let me try to run this and then see what happens. See, this is what I was telling you. So I want to have some formatting here. I just want to take only the process ID from this particular output and only the process name. And what I've done is I've just had a colon in between to have just the process name and the process ID, and with some magenta color, or like if I want to just have some other color, then I can just have it. Okay, so it gives me green color and all those stuff. See, the beauty of PowerShell ISC, if I type something wrong and if I'm just trying to execute something, it gives you very clear message error. Okay, it says that you cannot have something like hyphen green. It is not a supported or a valid enumerator, whereas you can use something like black or dark blue or dark green without the hyphen. See, they give a very good debugging is very simple, and it's very straightforward, and you can get the output very quickly. Okay, so you can see that it brings up the process ID, what is currently running. Okay, so this way, like PowerShell ISC is more powerful when you want to have a complex script, or when you want to have some formatting and filtering done in a better way, then ISC will come in handy. That's what I'm trying to convey here. So let me also give you one more example. So let me, you can open up at least like 32 windows in parallel now in version 2.0. In the previous IAC version 1, we can have, I think, maximum of 8 parallel scripts that can be edited. So if you're a developer or if you're a DevOps engineer, you might be working on multiple scripts or multiple code at the same time. So PowerShell IAC helps you to run 32 simultaneous codes or script at the same time. Okay, so here I want to do one more thing. So if I want to just get some list of folders or file, okay, so let me explain two important things here. One is that I want to just get the child item. Let me run this. So it is giving me all the folders under the C drive. See, if I do the same thing on the right here, if I want to get the child item, I can start typing and automatically it displays what are the different commands that are there. And if I select this, automatically it gives me the option to go and have the different options listed here. So I don't have to go and select any mandatory parameters or optional parameters here. See, if I select something, if I want to have the directory depth here, automatically the command will populate here. I can just copy that and then I can paste it here. Either I can paste it here or I can also have that pasted in the scripting environment so that the errors or it will reduce the errors when creating the script. See, just for an example, I just want to list only the directory here, right? I can just run this. See, it is only listing the directories, not the files. And if I want to have two level up depths in my directory or whatsoever, I can just run this here directly. Even without copying, I can run it directly, and it gives you two sub-level folders within each of the folders here. So that's what it is running on the backend. Even you can have recursive options, system options. So these are the parameters. So if you select this, and then you can run that and test it out on your console here, and then you can also copy the command to paste them in your scripting environment. See, I can just copy the command now, and it will also give me the option where it will also add -depth -space 2. Okay, so which means like I want two levels of depth on each of my directory in the C drive. So this way, PowerShell ISC has got a very powerful help option, and you can directly copy the common parameters and the common options that you want to specify. You even don't have to go and start typing it. See, so the path, the include, exclude option, force. So these are the things that are listed here. Even you can see the common parameters which are listed here, and the literal items that can be used for debugging and so on. So PowerShell ISC comes in very handy with the show command and the option to copy the commands or the scripts commandlets, and then it avoids a lot of human errors or the time that it takes to create the script, because you can just start typing, it automatically gets you the complete help list. Okay, let me do one more thing. I'll just show you some example here. Okay, I just want to, okay, let me store it in a kind of stored variable. I want to just get the child item. Okay, I think if I go and enumerate the subdirectory, it takes me a lot of time. So let me do one thing. I'll just want to get all the child items in C Windows folder. See, automatically it auto completes as well, even the directory structure and the files. So that is where ISC gets very, very popular. Now, if I want to get some, whether a specific file exists, or if I want to get some count, or if I want to do some appending or whatever, right? So everything works perfectly fine here. Okay, let me try to run this. So you can see that there are 23 files in this particular C Windows directory. So that way, uh, it gets very easier. So even if I want to get the full listing or full path of the files here, I can just go and execute that. See, you can see it gives me the full path of those particular files, 23 files which I'm talking about. So this way, like PowerShell ISC is very, very user friendly and very handful tool which you can explore. There is a lot of option here. You can also take remote of your computer by just clicking on this option. It connects to a remote Windows computer, and you can just give the credential, and you can start working on a remote computer in a separate tab here. So it is very, very powerful, and you can see that there are a lot of other options here. You have a lot of shortcut that you can use for replacing. You can use Control H, and if you want to go to a particular line in the command in the script, you can just press Control plus G, and you can also toggle. You can also start snippets, which helps you to easily complete, auto complete the commands or the modules. Okay, so there are a lot of other add-ons also which you can add. Okay, for example, if I want to have some additional PowerShell stuffs, which is not been enabled by default in ISE, I can just go and download them and get them added. So these are all some additional bit of code which you can add. For example, if I want to have some menus generator, or if I want to have some print script tool, there are many other additional add-ons that are available. So these are not part of your default ISE, where you can go and add and enhance your PowerShell ISE. So PowerShell ISE is very, very popular for maybe a few reasons that I was explaining, right? Debugging, it saves you a lot of time, and it reduces error, because we are just having a very good command line help, and you can just copy that and start pasting it in your script when you are developing it. So this command menu, it gives you all granular options and parameters. So when you construct the script in PowerShell ISE, PowerShell ISE gives you an interactive index of available commands, available parameters. So you just have to copy paste it. So this is going to save a lot of time and reduce a lot of errors, right? And also it improves script debugging. I showed you an example, right? When you go and execute it, it gives you a very clear error, and also it has got the debug option here. You can have breakpoints in your script. You can have specific lines of code to go and debug, and debugging along with breakpoints. The additional breakpoint and selective execution enables developer to check a desired portion of the script, and intentionally they can stop execution of the script at a critical point, or inspect the state of the important variables and other behaviors. So debugging is also very, very powerful, and also you get greater insight into your related scripts. Scripts can be highly interactive entities. With the ISE, it supports multiple simultaneous execution environments. That is another beauty, right? You can have multiple executions happening in parallel. So in a nutshell, okay, PowerShell, just the PowerShell I'm talking about, right? So either it is PowerShell version 7 or just the PowerShell. So you have two, right? So this is PowerShell version 7, or this is the PowerShell version 5.1. Both of them can be used if the code is very basic, and if you want to execute couple of line codes, you can directly use that. It is straightforward scripting platform where you can automate things. But the same scripting capabilities, if this code is little complex, or if you want to have more flexible and forgiving editing and execution features, then definitely PowerShell ISE is the good platform. ISE is preferable when scripting tasks are larger, more complex, and interrelated. Okay, so that's where I compare the analogy of Notepad versus Microsoft Word, right? So my Notepad is ideal to create and edit notes, and you can write some short, straightforward text. But then, if you want to have more editing features, fonts, coloring, formatting, spelling, grammar checks, and so on, PowerShell, I mean, Microsoft Word comes a very handy tool. Similarly, if you want to deal with complex tasks or scripts in a professional way, if you want to write and develop a book, I mean, kind of script or a code, then definitely ISE is the go-to tool. Okay, so in a nutshell, I'll just say like ISE gives you a lot of time savings. It helps you to reduce a lot of errors, because you are not going to have any syntax error. You're just copying and pasting the script, I mean, code in your script. And then it improves the debugging with the default debugging tool, as well as the breakpoint option. And also it improves the testing. It gives greater insight into your scripts, and it helps you to run multiple scripts in parallel. You can see that you can run 32 concurrent scripts. So one or couple of things I don't like with our, I would say is a limitation with PowerShell. So sometimes the disadvantage of PowerShell ISE is that it has limited paging. Okay, and it has got lack of support for some of the legacy commands or the commandlets, and also it unnecessarily complexity of for certain tasks. Okay, so this is where people start using or exploring other tools like Visual Studio Code and so on. So let's jump into Visual Studio Code now. Let's go and download it. So PowerShell ISE will be there for next 5 to 7 years for sure, because it's part of your embedded part of your operating system, and many people, especially the administrators and the DevOps team, will continue to use it. But then the Visual Studio Code is getting very popular, as it works very well with your CI/CD tool sets and the DevOps framework. So if you want to download it for your different Linux operating system or MacBook, you can download the respective zip file or the respective package. But for Windows, you have two different things. If you want to install it for a particular user, you can download the user installer for the respective platform operating system. And if you want to download it for all the users, you can go and download the system install package. So I'll just go install it for my requirement here. And you can see that Visual Studio Code is not just for PowerShell. It acts as a powerful source code editor for many different OS platform, and also it is supporting different scripts also, not just PowerShell, JavaScript, TypeScript, Node.js, and any programming language that is very popular. Anything and everything is mostly supported here. And let's go and install this particular tool now. I have downloaded it. Let me start it. And also you can see that it has got auto update, crash reporting, usage reporting, a lot of additional privacy and better security features are available in your Visual Studio Code. So let me install this. I'll create a shortcut. I can create a desktop icon so that I can launch it from the desktop. So Visual Studio Code, DevOps team, and the developers definitely prefer Visual Studio Code over ISE because like they have to work on different programming code for the application, and also when they create the infrastructure as a code, they have to create it for different formats. So now by default, the PowerShell module or the PowerShell extension might not be there. So in that case, you have to go and click on the extensions here, and then you have to go and search for PowerShell and then install it. Okay, so it says the reload is required, but that's fine. I'll just go and reload it. Okay, and you can see that you can disable it, you can uninstall it, you can set a color theme for your PowerShell. Okay, currently I think it has got a default thing, and the beauty here is by default it has got the PowerShell version 7 PWSH, and you can also add the older PowerShell here. And also you can have the command prompt PowerShell. You can have multi-screen option also here in Visual Studio Code. So this is very beautiful, and you can work on multiple screens here, and you got a beautiful terminal just like your PowerShell ISE. You get all the same options. You can just go and debug in the console, and you can also look at the problems. So Visual Studio Code, it helps you to work on PowerShell, and you can work on the legacy versions as well as PowerShell version 5.1, and also you can work in parallel on PowerShell core. But then the operating system requirements are different. Okay, so in Windows 2022, it supports this one, and also you can work on different OS flavors. There are a lot of features, there are a lot of enhancements. You can see there are many. We'll talk about this a little later when we go and create some codes or script. I'll talk about how the change log, how the dependencies, and then how the code can be created in a much better way. See, you have the option to go and have a split window. You have the option to go and have both command prompt, and then see, PowerShell is there on one screen, and then on the other screen you can work on command prompt and try some commands. You can have multiple different consoles like this. You can also go and remove that. See, you can just work on command prompt directly. And if you want to have some additional PowerShell related add-ons or whatever, so you have these many things. If you want to have some more theme, or if you want to have some more additional PowerShell tools, see, there are some professional tools. There are some additional packs which can enhance the features and functionalities in your PowerShell ISE. So PowerShell ISE in Visual Studio Code, that's what I can say. If I just want to create some new file, I can just start this, and then it asks me what kind of stuff that you want to do. and it asks me what kind of language. Here is where I go and select the PowerShell as a language, and automatically you can start using your ISE. Okay. See, it automatically brings up the double quotes and auto completes also. See, let me just try that, and you can see that it has the same option, run selection, and it also have the same option like the run the entire script. It has got almost all the same exact features that you see in PowerShell ISE, and it has also got much more options to play around. Okay, so in a nutshell, okay, PowerShell ISE will be there for next 5 years at least, because many administrators or many DevOps teams are still utilizing it, the PowerShell ISE, because of the reasons that I have highlighted here, which I've already shared a little earlier. So auto population, the debugging, the executing some specific lines of code, and then you can also do multiple administration like 32 simultaneous execution of scripts parallel, improve debugging, time saving. So these are the things that is very popular in ISE, and uh, PowerShell and PowerShell ISC will continue to be there. But then in the future, I would say Visual Studio Code will replace PowerShell ISC, and the PowerShell version 7 will replace PowerShell version 5.1. Okay, so this is what I thought of covering in this session. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining, and I'll stop the recording.